So last Shabbat, in our makeshift shul in the basement, in the Bernstein house, so of course every shul has that guy that just sings too loud. So one of the Bernsteins came and was being that guy. So I was reminded of the story when one week Yankel comes home to his wife after shul, and he says, "This week I had a horrible time in shul." So she says, "Why? What happened so bad?" So he said, "They hinted to me that they don't want me to come back." So she says, "Oy vey, how did they hint that to you?" So he said, "Well, the Gabbai gathered 3 big guys, and they picked me up and they threw me out of the shul." Either way, no one's throwing you out of your houses, Baruch Hashem. We all are good in shul. So this week is Shabbat Hagadol, the Great Shabbos it's called. And this name we find in text of about 900 years old. In the Tosfos it's found that this Shabbos is called Shabbat Hagadol, the Great Shabbat. Now, many occasions the Rebbe would discuss the question, why is this called the Great Shabbos? And it's brought in Halacha that it's called the Great Shabbat because there was a great miracle that happened on this Shabbat. So the story takes us back 3,332 years when the Jewish people are in their last few days in Egypt. And this is 86 years into their slavery, bitter slavery, harsh slavery, when God tells Moses on the first day of Nisan, Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu to tell the Jewish people that on the 10th day of Nisan, they should take a lamb to their home and guard it for 4 days. 4 days later, on the 14th of Nisan, it should be slaughtered and should be used to celebrate the exodus of Egypt, which will be the following morning. And Hashem also told Moshe Rabbeinu that there's going to be a makat bechorot, the plague of the deaths of the firstborns of Egypt, and that will be the last plague which will finally let the Jewish people go free. So when the Egyptians saw the Jewish people bringing the lamb to their houses, they asked them, "What are you doing this for?" And they said, "Because in a few days there will be a plague against the firstborns of Egypt, and it will be sent free, and we're using this to fulfill the commandment of God to slaughter a Passover offering, and we'll use it for a celebration of leaving Egypt." So when the firstborns heard this, and they saw the Jewish faith in God, that their faith was so strong that they were ready to take the holy gods, the idols of Egypt, which were their lambs, to take their idols and slaughter them in front of them. To have such a chutzpah must have been that their faith in going free was so strong and they wouldn't be harmed for doing this. So when the firstborn saw this, they saw, wow, this must be real, and we are about to get destroyed. That all the firstborns were afraid that they were going to die. So right away they went up to Pharaoh, they went up to the government officials, and they told him, "You better let the people go free." And of course Pharaoh said no. So they started a civil war, and this is what the verse says, that thanking God for his kindness of having the firstborns of Egypt start this civil war, hitting Egypt with their firstborns. So the question becomes now, why is it called the Great Shabbos? Because of this great miracle. There's been many miracles in history. Why now is it greatness? Why is this miracle specifically called the Great One? So the idea is that Chazal say, Kol hatchalot kashot. All beginnings are hard. It's hard to begin something new. When you see people doing things, or even if one person had the idea and started doing it, it's much easier to join along than to start. So over here too, the Jewish people were enslaved, a terrible slavery, as mentioned, for 86 years already. And here is the beginning of the downfall. The beginning is the hard part. The beginning is where it all comes after, from the beginning. This idea we could also all relate to right now in our current state, in our current era. We're all sitting at home and we're all waiting, watching the graph, waiting for the line to start going up, to hit its peak and to come down. Now, when that moment happens that it starts going down, that's not the end of the virus, that's not when it's all gone. It's all gone when it's finished, not when it starts going down. But still, that'll be the moment of excitement and feeling of accomplishment and success. because that's the moment that we'll know that our whole way of dealing with this, the whole quarantine attitude to this, was successful. As soon as it starts going down, because the beginning is where it all stands on. It's that moment of beginning is when we know that it's real. We also find this idea later on in the redemption. When it came time to the splitting of the sea, the one who goes down into history was Nachshon ben Aminadav. Nachshon, son of Aminadav from the tribe of Yehuda, which he goes down into history because he was the first one to trust in God and actually jump into the sea before it split. He was the one that led all the Jewish people following behind him through into the sea when it split only after he jumped in. So may we reach this moment where Hashem will take away all sickness and take away all burden and all hardships with the coming of Mashiach speedily in our days now. Shabbos.